Before we get stuck into this week's episode, just want to say a very quick thank you to Alt Cult, Rockstar Finance, Hydra Rehearsal Studios, and Squid Ink Screen Printing for their fantastic support. Now it's on with the show. Welcome to the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Tim.
I'm Brendan.
And details are at the bottom of the screen as always, so please make sure you're following our social media channels, especially get all the extra stuff that doesn't make it into TV on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Spotify to get a whole bunch of things. We also have THRS Radio for now, and help us out via Patreon sponsor packs as well. Mm-hmm. Coming up at the end of this month, we'll have a 2-hour special episode dedicated to bands that have toured here this year. We'll have our Christmas and New Year's stuff coming up very soon as well, followed by our top 10. So there's heaps going on, and it's been a very big year. But now it's time to kick it off. Oh, hang on, no, I won't. We'll actually go through what's in this episode first, won't I? That might be an idea. We'll have a hot topic on big festival viability. We have the reviews of the latest from Dirt River Radio, Amberdown, and Grant Burns. We have a classic review as chosen by the audience on Carcass. We have a Patreon review for Wreck-Defy, and then we have a random Spotify find in John 5 and the Creatures. So it's another random episode for you all. Now it's time to kick it off. So go to the clip for us while we get really professional with this shit.
Yeah, we shall. Let's go with our old friends from Sisters Doll. This is their latest. This is a ripper. This one's called Black Mirror. Check it out.
This week's hot topic is inspired by a number of different things, but mostly to do with a conversation we've had behind the scenes before filming, and that is to do with the viability of big festivals, because as we film this, we're not sure if download is going to happen in 2020. We keep hearing that it is, and there's a lot of speculation that it is, but at the same time, this time last year, the lineup was fully announced, tickets were on sale, the works, and we haven't heard anything but crickets at this time. So that's what motivated this conversation. You had a whole lot of the facts and figures behind things, so how about you kick it off for us?
Yeah, so if you do the maths on the festival, they had roughly 20,000 people in Sydney and 25,000 people in Melbourne. Last year, at roughly $170 a pop. If you do the maths on that, it's actually not, when you consider the amount of money it costs to bring people over here from the US and the UK and travel, and you got to move the stages around. I'm sure renting Flemington Racecourse is not cheap, and all the other jazz that goes with it. It's really an eye opener as to how these festivals go in Australia, especially with a country that's so big, with such geographically big, with a smaller population. It does cost a lot of money to move from one place to another, and again, because we're on the other side of the world from everywhere else, I do sort of wonder how these things will go from a rock perspective, because one of the things that's really hurt it is, as we took away a lot of the support networks for Australian bands and bands that were based here, the costs of running these sort of things skyrocketed, because you couldn't just pad your lineup out. If you look at the 90s Big Day Out lineup, it's 75% Australian. Mm-hmm. And everyone looks at those big headliners, but it was mostly Australian bands there, and that's how you were able to keep your costs down. Can't really do that anymore because
no media.
Yeah. Basically, put Airborne as an afterthought, for God's sake.
Yeah. But even
they were filling.
Yeah.
No, but even then, if you want to put in Airborne, you've still got to fly them from Germany.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's not. Airborne had to go overseas to get anywhere. So they don't really count anymore, unfortunately, as far as costs go.
I hope it's still viable. I hope someone finds a way to do it, but I suspect they won't. And the small festivals probably don't have much of a future, or the medium level festivals. The really small ones can keep doing what they do. Some of them are really successful, and it's great. They don't generate a lot of cash.
No, that's hard to grow.
Yeah, it's passion and hard work that makes these things happen. This is the other end of the spectrum, and it's I hope it can still work. I really do. I mean, Download last year.
It was great.
Yeah, this year.
This year.
Yeah, it was one of the best days out I've had in a long time. It was a lot of fun. The bands were fucking sensational.
We all got to hang out and had a great time.
Yeah, the crowd was great. So I hope it's viable, but when you break it down, and with climate's forever changing in that regard as well as to security and whatever the
Costs tend to
media
go
will
up
pump
and
into it.
everything
The New South Wales police policy on these sort of things.
Scare tactics, and so look, I hope so, but I have grave reservations, unfortunately.
Yeah, my point of view is more or less the same. It's pretty much a unified panel here. I would love to see it continue. I think they have a great place in Australian music culture and the future of things to come. But I think that between the lack of support from government and media in this country, to not only have these events come here, but also to grow the stable of talent that we have in this country and any form of support at all, it's just not happening. So we're not able to pad out lineups and sell tickets. And if you're going to bring 3 or 4 big bands over, they may as well do their own tour here. It's going to be more cost effective because it's not going to cost all the infrastructure of having a big festival. And so,
provided they don't go into rehab and not turn up.
well, yes, and then announce a different bunch of festival headliners anyway. But in Europe, the US and all that sort of stuff, it's much more viable than it is here because the density is there. No matter how big the country is, the population density is there to cover it. Here, we don't have it.
Yeah, like because you can book. Okay, to throw a name out there, so Ozzy Osbourne. You can book Ozzy Osbourne to play download in Paris and in Germany and in England. Well, straight away you get 3 shows out of there. It doesn't cost much to travel in between it. Plus, Ozzy can play 10 shows in giant cities to giant crowds and make it worthwhile for him. Whereas for him to generate that same amount of cash here is virtually impossible.
Well, the only other places you can tour aside from Australia are Japan and New Zealand in the same stretch, and that's expensive because of the flights in between alone.
Yeah, Japan's not close to Australia, and New Zealand is
not population dense enough.
No.
So you can't win either way. And until we get, one, the government to fucking lift the bullshit they're putting on the festival circuit and music in general, but also, too, for the media to step up and start promoting new homegrown talent versus...
That's not Tones and I?
Well, or anything. Like, we just don't get anything like...
Auto-tunes and I.
Yeah, there's no... as far as our TV shows are concerned, aside from what we do here, that you got TV shows like, The Masked Singer. Fucking hell. Like, none of these things help. They all hurt.
No.
And it makes things worse in the long run. We're not going to see many of these festivals anymore if we don't start to actually generate homegrown support. So what everyone can and should do is do the online thing and promote and spruik and all sort of stuff. But until we get major media support, it's just not going to happen, I don't think. I think it's the writing's on the wall. But that's us. What about you out there? Well, what do you think out there? And do you see a better solution or have any idea at all what's coming next? Over to you. Give us your thoughts. River Radio, just for kicks. Daniel, I'm sure you're happy we're actually reviewing this one. 11 tracks for 39 minutes, the 4th album from the Australian band, released October 2019 independently. I believe this was recorded at Woodstock Studios, but I don't know who produced it. So far, one promo track has been released in When I Was 18. The future is a little unclear for this band now that 2 of the members have married off and moved away to Western Australia, so the band actually don't know what's coming next.
Ouch.
Go for it.
Love this band so much. Only actually saw them live for the first time, I think it was last year, and was completely blown away. And I missed this album launch. I'm spewing because it looked like it was massive.
Would have loved to have gone, but other commitments.
I love this album. This is just great musicians playing great music, as far as I'm concerned. It really is that bloody simple. It shits me that we don't have a radio station in Melbourne at all. We harp on about it all the time, but there just isn't one.
How this isn't getting played.
I know, it's so, accessible and everything to everyone, and
it's safe. And that's not meant to be it's not a dirty word. But it's safe enough.
Comfortable rock and roll.
Yeah.
It deserves to be played and heard by the masses, and it's just not. There's something here from ages 8 to 80 that really does. Yeah. It crosses so much. I've only a couple of listens on this one. I'm not quite sure this reaches the height of Sun City White for me, because I thought that was an amazing
They're different
album.
beasts, though.
Yeah, they're very different beasts. And like I said, I've only done this one a couple of times, so we'll need a couple more spins. But this is still great rock and roll. Time will tell. I gave it 9 out of 10. Highlights were West Coast Hurt, Killing Out, so Kill Everyone in the Room. Cool name.
That's a great song.
And His Electric Eye.
Yeah,
loved it.
Yeah, it definitely took me a few listens to get my head around it. Because
this isn't your normal...
No.
It's a big
they're doing that sort of country rock thing without being country rock.
Yeah.
It's sort of got that sort of jam band feel to it.
Yeah.
with a solid rock background thrown in there, and they kind of put it together and see what it can create. And I did find myself sort of struggling to find a groove a little bit in it, and because they've got a particular cadence to their phrasing that does take a little bit of getting used to. Because again, it's not really the sort of mesh that you would normally hear.
Yeah.
Having said that, once you do get used to it, it is very good. The hooks are great. The choruses are fantastic as well. Everything's really well recorded. Everything's played fantastically well. I thought the drum tone was quite spectacular. Especially, again, they did a good job of merging that almost like a bluegrass kind of drum feel to it, and then putting it in a rock context and making it not feel weird. Having said that, I do feel like it lacked a strong vocal presence.
Okay.
I thought, having the mix of vocal styles is a cool thing, but I thought neither of them really carried it home as well. And sort of splitting it between the two, it really did kind of make it feel a little bit awkward and weird for me.
I would love to know what you think of the album before this. I'd be curious to get his thoughts on that one. But go on.
Yeah, we'll do it one time. Kill Everyone in the Room is the highlight, 8.5 out of 10.
Cool. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say from me, and I think from most of us here, don't be the end of this band. I want to see them do more. For me personally, they're great live. They're great on record. If you haven't seen this band and they do play another gig, fucking go. They're a bit different for our usual bread and butter on the Hard Rock Show, but they're one of those bands that just seem to have this ability to fit in anywhere, which is really cool. It's further rooted in the sort of the blues and the rockabilly, but this is less country and more electrified rock than previous releases have been in the past. And this is a very different beast from the previous album, Sun City White. That was a great album.
Decent album.
The trademark sound that you've got here is the vocal, the rough sort of gruff vocal of Alex at the front, balanced out by the lovely lady harmony vocals on this. And for me, I thought they played off of each other really well, so I'm going to go completely counterpoint to you. I thought they fucking worked. There are some fantastic hooks in this. The melodies and the harmonies are great. The swing and the groove is fantastic on this release. This is infectious for mine. It might take a few spins if you're not used to this band, but if you've got some history with this music, you're going to settle in on this real quick.
Yeah.
I love the last album, and I love this one too. They're both different showcases of this band and its collective talent. This is more of an old school sort of rock record. It's got heaps of storytelling, fantastic lyrics, diverse little showcase with lots of light and shade about it as well. The different things like piano and hand claps that you don't hear very often done in this way, they're present on this release. And I love the flow of this album too. It's great. It's easy to listen to. It's great production as well. Like has been said, the tones are fantastic and they're all really well balanced. You can hear everything and it breathes really nicely, this album. It's cool. This isn't the most hard rock thing out there. That's not what they're trying to be. But the band have done something that's pretty much anyone can listen to this. Like you said, ages 8 to 80. Like that's pretty much the way to sum it up. Anyone can listen to this. It's good. I think anyone should, and everyone should listen to this one. There's going to be at least one track that's going to grab you on this record, and that's not something you can say about every album. Not even close. Like, you can't say it very often at all. If this is their swan song, which I hope it isn't, but if it is, it's one hell of a way to go out. The true story it's being told in When I Was 18. That's worth the entry alone, that song. 9 out of 10 from me. Kill Everyone in the Room, Kiss of the Year, Here's Electric Eye, and When I Was 18. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think. Amberdown with 4 years, 12 tracks with 38 minutes. The debut album, the West Australian band, released August 2019 independently. Produced by the band, 3 promo tracks have been released in Say You Will, Hole in the Floor, and Lifeless. The album comes about after a run of singles and EPs and was sent to us via Firestarter Music.
Cool.
Let's go first on this one.
Timmy.
Yeah, this kind of modern Australian heavy rock prog sound, butterfly effect with a bit of a slap. Kind of.
Actually, that's not fair.
But that's, Yep. There's a lot of bands doing that now.
Yep.
Sidonia did it ages ago, and, now we've got Amberdown. There's the ballad in the middle, but apart from that, I did find it very one-paced.
Yeah.
And it's to call it a prog rock album is a little...
It's not prog. I wouldn't call it prog.
Yeah, it's a little unfair because it's kind of like, 4/4 with some extra phrasing around it, and you know, a little bit of linear stuff, but you know, it's still basically just 4/4. And you know, if you're expecting, you know, some kind of wild, crazy, you know, stuff, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
And if you're an expert in this style, then maybe, you know, it doesn't sound so samey to you, but for me, there's any nuances just went straight over my head. Recorded very great, actually. All the sounds they got out of this was pretty damn good. The singer as well was a great tone, but that cover was really fucking random.
That was odd at the end.
I bet you it gets a mention in every review.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. Abandoned is the highlight. 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Cool. This is their first album, and they really swung for the fences on this because it sounds big.
Yeah.
And I was pretty bloody impressed. I just like the attitude to it because they sure as shit didn't go radio friendly.
No, they didn't.
They almost deliberately didn't.
This is American market stuff, not Australian market.
It's good because in Australia we all know that going radio friendly is a waste of everyone's fucking time anyway. I just love when you look at it on Spotify, like every single track has an explicit language warning. Good work. I love it. I thought it was brilliant. These guys sound like they're playing and saying exactly what they want to say. And they're playing exactly the way they want to play. There's attitude coming through that I really, really... I was eating it up. I thought it was pretty fantastic. Musically, really well performed. The cover of What I Like About You does not fucking belong on there at all. But I've played that song in a cover band before. And I know it's a fucking fun song to play. So if they're enjoying themselves and... tip of the hat, well done.
They do sound like they're enjoying themselves.
It does.
It'll go well live too.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking belong. But it was fun. Yeah, knock yourself out. Because lyrically it's kind of angry and charged all the way through, and
also,
What I Like About You is just fucking weird.
The album really goes for 30 minutes, including that, so it'll be a short album without that track. So.
Yeah. I love in the vocal, they kept an Aussie twang to a lot of it.
To me it's an acquired taste. I never buy in on that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Always do.
It's not a natural way of singing, so I don't buy in.
I think it is a natural way of singing. I think we actually all sing unnaturally.
You've never done focused, proper singing before, have
I
you?
can't sing for shit, so it doesn't matter. If I was, the guy twiddling the knobs in the studio, I might have made it a bit dirtier, if anything.
Yeah, I understand that.
But anyway, look, I enjoyed it a lot. I hope they hit town soon because I'd like to check them out live. I'm sure it's a hell of a lot of fun. I gave it 8.5 out of 10. The highlights were Silence, Lifeless, Hole in the Floor, and Stockholm Syndrome.
Cool. This to me was interesting. It's the heavy rock blended with some really beautiful moments on this one. So it's up tempo, and like I said, I think this is meant for the US market. It's not meant for the Australian radio market in any way, shape, or form. Some serious riffs balanced by melodic yet pretty intense melodies and lyrics. This one, like you said, they say what they want. They've got something to get off their chest in this release. Yeah. And they're not pulling any punches, which is cool. It's well produced, big and dynamic mix that actually has a fair bit of layering going on and hasn't crunched the absolute shit out of it, which is good. Don't do that. They've done this really well and allowed the vocals to take the lead on the mix. Not a heap of tricks, but just little bits and pieces here and there that sort of keep it interesting. What's really cool about this, though, is the flow in it. I understand what you're saying about the one pace kind of thing, but on repeat spins, you get the flow, what they're getting for and going for in this one, and they got that pretty well for me. It's not the most intense thing ever, but the way it pushes and pulls with the soft track dead in the middle of the album was really well done. It's very modern rock. We seem to have a bit of a rise of this sort of style of music in Australia at the moment, which is unusual. I didn't expect to hear this sort of music become in vogue, but we're getting more of this sort of Americanized, and that's a generalistic term, not meant to be a critique. It's just we got this sort of modern rock, very polished, heavier kind of rock going on, which is cool and different. I'm enjoying what I'm hearing out of it. This is one of those ones that it will take a few spins to grow on you properly, I think, but the more you do spin it, the better it gets. I think the first half of the record was stronger than the back half of the record, but the back half of the album is where the diversity comes into it too, which is a bit of an interesting sort of a thing. So while the really strong songs are more toward the start, the back half is more interesting because that's where you get more changes happening on the listen. I think it's well done, and like I said, the more I listened to it, the more I liked it, and it's worth a listen. If you give it, it's one of those ones you should give it your focus though, not really a casual listening kind of a record. Give it a bit of attention. Give it an 8.5 out of 10. I picked Hole in the Floor, Abandoned, Ember's Song, as well as Casey 1 and 2. I thought that
was cool.
That was a cool flow on between those two tracks. So check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think. Grant Burns, Chaos in Design, 5 tracks for 22 minutes, the debut solo album from the Mason guitarist, released July 2019 via Rue Morgue Records. I think this was self-produced, though I am happy to be corrected on that one. One promo track has been released in Creation of a New World. This album came about after he did a video when he was trying to sell a guitar. And and that video went really, really well, and so he was like, okay, I've got a few songs, and he just had the idea born of that to go and do it. And this one got our attention predominantly after, or my attention anyway, after Grant did an in-store appearance at Old Coal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that would have been pretty cool to be at. So I'm sorry I missed that one. Go for it.
Me? Cool.
Either.
Sure. I'll go.
Yeah.
I wasn't long into. I was doing a few reviews in a row, and it didn't have to get very far into this track for me to go, hang on a minute, start this again. I've got to listen to this properly.
Fresh palette.
Yeah, I'm sort of like, hang on, who the fuck is this guy? Guitarist from Mason. Right, okay, this is all starting to make a bit more sense now. This album is in beast mode from start to finish. If you don't like the shred, don't. Stay away. If you do like the shred, please continue. Don't be mistaken, though, this is not just an album of musical masturbation. There's a lot of thought and care has gone into the way this is done. It's melodic, it's heavy, and it's fucking masterful. Even if this is not your style, it's hard to imagine someone couldn't appreciate this on some level. Oh, because it is just...
And it's not hard to take in. It's not hard to listen to.
A lot of this stuff I can't listen to in for any great length of time. I had no problem sitting there through this whole album and enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was absolutely insane, beautifully composed. It made me happy in pants. I give it 9 out of 10. That was amazing. The highlights of the whole damn thing, because I don't think there's a low light on it. It just works. I loved it.
At long last, a good instrumental album.
Yeah.
Nina Strauss, pay a fucking attention.
Dave's going to hate you for that.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
It's better than Nina Strauss's album. There's no doubt.
It's a fucking long way better than Nina Strauss's album. And that's not...
No, but there's a reason for that. This is not guitar karaoke.
That's the point.
This is actually sitting down and writing songs that make sense and that keep you interested as a listener. There's a push and pull involved, and there's a story.
And no shitty backing tracks.
No, there's a story being told without lyrics.
Yes.
And that's what you need as a listener to keep you interested, and that's the whole reason why you do listen. As has been covered, ripping guitar solos, I loved everything about this. This is actually one of the better instrumental albums I've heard in a really long time.
I struggle with these ones traditionally. I didn't struggle with this one.
Synthetic Evolution was my highlight, an 8.5 out of 10.
Cool. Nice. First off, great artwork. Fuck, it's cool. That might well be my artwork for the year. Beyond that, I am very cautious about solo guitar albums because they're usually a miss with me. Happy to say this is not the case. This is very cool. Probably more of an EP due to its length than an album, but we'll go with album because that's what's being called. But this is completely composed songs that build and dip very nicely. Either he's got one hell of a drum program, or this is an actual drummer playing on these ones, and fuck, it's cool. Beyond that, the bass and the rhythm guitar give the platform for the lead guitar to do its thing, which is to tell a story. No words, but you get a journey out of listening to this. There are hooks, structured songs. This is one of those cases where the lead guitar takes the spotlight, but it's not going over the top. This is not wankery. This is composition.
It's a little bit of wankery,
but it works. Like, I don't mind showing off in context.
Yeah.
When it's nothing but showing off, fuck off. It irks the fuck out of me. I put these albums on with so much trepidation. I always sit there and go, fuck, I'm dreading putting these on because they're usually shit. And I know that all the guitar heads out there are going to go, yeah, but it's just not good to listen to from just an observational listening point of view. It's like, how am I going to get into this when I don't give a fuck about the minor seventh melodian? Fuck off. Like, I don't give a shit. I was never a lead guitarist. I was always a rhythm guitarist, and that the lead guitarist and go and have a pretend wank on stage and do your thing. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I want well-structured songs, and that's what's on this. It's very well done. I love the overall flow on this. The production is very cool on this.
It's very angry for a positive review.
Because
he's working through some stuff.
I get so fucked off with all the Malmsteen fanboys who go, it's the best thing ever. It's fucking not. A million notes a second doesn't make you good.
Oh, this is better than Malmsteen.
This shits on anything I've heard Malmsteen do. I know that's going to get a response. Good.
Actually, I agree with you.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's not that hard, but it's all about, like you said, it's not guitar karaoke. These are composed pieces of music, and from a classical background, I love composition.
Yeah.
I don't have to have vocals and lyrics. I just need to hear a good song with, you know, a build and a drop and a journey to go on. This has that. It's a small little package, but I hope he does a lot more of these, to be honest. This is really, really cool.
So impressive.
It's easy to go back and repeat spin. This is one of the ones that I'll actually deliberately go back to listen to it. I don't do that very often with guitar-based albums at all, but I will do that with this release. Very well put together, well worth checking out. 8.5 out of 10 from me. Creation of a new world and chaos and design, my standout. So I think we've just about covered off the entire list there.
Yeah.
Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think.
Hi, welcome to this week's Gig Guide. I'm Jodie and I'm on holidays again, hence the different location. First off, I want to say a special thanks to Alt Cult, Rockstar Finance, Hydra Rehearsal Studios and Squid Ink Screen Printing for their support. Make sure that you look up the events that interest you online for more information. First off, starting with November the 14th to the 16th, Michael Sweets from Striper is on his first ever solo tour of Australia. On Thursday, November the 14th, I Dunno, Danash, Evasion Skies and Monaros at Bombay Rock. November the 15th to the 16th, She Had will be at Frankston and Mulgrave, supported by Barebones and Plovers. Saturday, November the 16th, Blister Metal Festival 5 at the Tote, featuring King, Elm Street, Harlot, Hadal Moore and Venom, Demon Head and many, many more. On the same night, down at Maui, we have a very special fundraising festival at the Maui Hotel, featuring Frankenbach, Lethal Dose, Planet of the Apes, Cash, Maniacs, and many more. Proceeds from this event will be helping young Saxon Wilson to get special therapies to combat Cri-du-Chat syndrome. Also, Hellfire Records are putting on a gig at the Young Street Supper Clubs on that night with Squad, Rapid Assault, Kings of Other Wings, and Autism. On November the 16th to the 30th, Kiss are on their End of the Road tour, playing across Australia with support from Legs Electric, Palace of the Kings, The Poor, Dead City Ruins, and many more. On Thursday, November the 21st, 16 by 9, Mr. Stitcher and City Sharps are playing at Bombay Rock. Friday, November the 29th, Bigger Than Jesus at Chasers in Melbourne with support from MV Marshall and the Black Tides. Saturday, November the 30th, Espionage are playing at the Evelyn Hotel, where they'll be filming a brand new video along with support from Sabaya, Tyrant and Vicious Addiction. Also, charity show Rocking for West Papa at the Central Club Hotel with Moonshifter, Vacant Image, Spook the Banshee, Suburban Prophets, Monsteria and a host of interstate bands as well. On December the 11th to the 15th, Marty Friedman is on tour, playing Sydney, Brisbane, Canberra and 2 shows in Melbourne, with support from Trigger, Temptress, Wartooth, Matasphere, Hidden Intent, Demon Head, Espionage and more. On Saturday, February the 1st, 2020, this is a big one, Horsehead are playing a one-night only special gig at the Corner Hotel to celebrate the release of their Legacy box set, so make sure you get there and check that one out. Now, as always, lineups and events are subject to change, so keep up to date with those that interest you via Facebook and hit us up via Facebook if you've got something that you would like for us to plug. Again, a special thanks to Alt Cult, Rockstar Finance, Hydra Rehearsal Studios and Squid Ink Screen Printing for their support. Now, it's time to go to the latest clip from RedHook. Check out their cover of Rage Against the Machine's Guerrilla Radio. Thanks. See you next week, guys. Drink up and with your frock on. Bye.
Carcass with Heartwork, 10 tracks for 42 minutes. The 4th album from the British band, released October 1993 via Earache in Colombia. Produced by Colin Richardson, recorded at Parr Street Studios in Liverpool. 2 singles were released in Heartwork and No Love Lost. No real single or chart info, though this did sell over 80,000 units and is considered a breakthrough album for the band. This will be the band's last album with Michael Amott, and the cover art was actually designed by H.R. Geiger, which is pretty cool. And this is this week's classic review as polled by the audience. Tim?
Yeah, this is great. This is heavy metal before the gigs took over.
So this is before Frodo went and got the ring.
Yeah, there's nothing fancy about this, and it's amazing how little they actually do.
It's a good kick to the head, though.
Yeah, but that's exactly right.
Yeah.
What they even the guitar work is they're just chugging along and picking the right notes, and occasionally doing a little halftime thing here and there. But the whole point of this is they are picking the right notes to create a maximum effect of mood and drama while doing absolutely fuck all.
That's actually
right, and that's all it is. It's just music to beat each other up to, and just piss people off. And fantastic, that's what we want, And like some of these breakdowns, like are so groovy as hell, and. We live in an era now where every metal band does a breakdown, and in order to get it to sound heavy, they've got to use an 8-string guitar and still tune that down. These guys
and then fucking dial at the bottom end in the
exactly production. Because nobody knows how to sit down and
write a song,
and that's what Carcass do. It's fantastic stuff, and then still, when they do open it up, into for lack of a better term, a chorus. Everything does go.
That is a par for a normal song is to have a chorus.
But these songs do. They really have choruses. So they don't really have choruses. Yeah, but then it does get, nice and bright and uplifting in a way. Or at least I find it uplifting.
Carcass, the uplifting.
And you think I've got issues to work through on the last review.
Yeah, it's fantastic. 9 out of 10. This is an all-time classic, and it should be granted as such for the death metal genre. Carnal Forge is the highlight.
Right on.
Follow that up.
Yeah, okay. Generally with death metal albums, I quite often can find that musically I'll love them, and with the vocals I'll really struggle. Traditionally, I like a bit more melody. But this is sort of in the pocket where I'm still comfortable. It's not so blindingly heavy that it loses all sense of rhythm and melody. It's
and
actually
you can still make out lyrics.
Yeah, you can. It's still it's scary. It's heavy enough to scare your grandmother, which is what we like. But musically, I'd
not scary enough to terrify your kids, though.
No, I'd put it somewhere sort of in the heaviness, somewhere between Pantera and Slayer. This is
I
did
get a Pantera vibe.
Yeah,
on points,
that's kind of where I put it.
But this is sort of where, like, some bands from Dark Tranquillity and all that and Arch Enemy sort of come from this kind of stuff.
The vocal can be a bit grating, but I actually found this, every time I listened to it, it bothered me less.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it. A hell of a lot more than I thought. It won't be for everyone, but it's well worth a listen. I think just the name of the band Carcass probably kept me away from these guys for a while, and it probably shouldn't have.
But it does set the tone.
It does set the tone.
Dead.
I think the songs are really well composed, like you were saying. I think they actually do a really good job. The guitar work's nice and tasty. They don't do too much. The drums are excellent. If anything, it sounded a little bit thin, but we'll listen to a YouTube track on that.
Yeah, it's not on streaming service, so you can't go too hard.
Yeah, that could be, we'll just ignore that. If you like it heavy, check it out. I give it 8.5 out of 10. I fucking loved it. Highlights were No Love Lost, Heartwork, and Blind Bleeding the Blind. What a great name for a song.
Great word. This is not my go-to sort of music, so it's my first listen through for me. I've heard the name kicking around for donkeys and never really gone to my to-do list. Eventually I'll get there, but today I've finally gotten to an album. If you don't like growling vocals, stay the fuck away. This isn't going to do anything for you in that regard. If you do, you're going to be happy. It's a bit of a different tone overall to this one than a lot of other ones that you get from this genre of music. The use of the reverb on the vocal was really well done. It allowed things to... It softened it just enough. It kept it aggressive, but it just smoothed the edges a little bit so it's more accessible. Blends in nicely with the music that way. The music is intense. The energy and the intensity is fucking great. The flip side is they use space, like you were saying, they allow these beautiful moments to come in, and then they fucking just smack you in the head. Not generic breakdowns. That was cool. I really enjoyed that part of it. The tempo switches were well composed. This goes from blistering to dialed right back and anywhere in between, but it does it all seamlessly. Credit where due for the writing and performances on this record. You can't fault that. Some fantastic guitar work, as you expect from this style of music, but it's not a million notes a second. They give the song what it needs, much like we were saying with the Grant Burns one. There's, a feel employed on this, which, what the song needs is what they do, not beyond that. This is thrashy, it's sludgy, it's doomy, it's aggressive, it's dark. This is actually pretty damn cool with suitable lyrics to go with it, and the fact that you can make out the lyrics is kind of cool as well. But there was some dual guitar work, which you don't get a lot of in this style of music. No. That was a refreshing little piece too. Hard to judge too much, like you were saying, on the production, because it is from YouTube, though. It is a little bit top-end heavy.
Yeah, I got the same,
but it's a touch brittle, but
could be that.
I don't tend to go too hard on the YouTube listens that we do. But overall, it's pretty even and pretty impressive. I would have liked to have said a bit more bass in it, that's all. This will come down to taste, personally, but if you enjoy this on the first pass, you're going to enjoy it more after that. If you don't like it on the first pass, don't go back. It's not going to change your mind. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I picked Embodiment, Doctrinal Expletives, This Mortal Coil, and Buried Dreams as my standouts. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think. Wreck-Defy with Remnants of Pain, 9 tracks for 45 minutes, the second album from the Canadian band, released September 2019 by Inverse Records, but it was also released March this year independently. Produced by Juan Ortega in Pacheco, California. Super Homo tracks have been released, it looks like, in Killing the Children and Broken Peace. This band is fronted by former Annihilator member Aaron Randall, and it is this week's Patreon review, and it looks like you're going to get your money's worth again. Go for it.
This had a very underground thrash vibe for me. Like a lot of the stuff we were getting sort of back in the 80s. And I really enjoyed it. I felt like I should have been listening to this, on cassette covered in black texture. That's kind of how it felt to me. And I was pretty comfortable because I spent a lot of my childhood doing exactly that. Angry and angsty kind of lyrics, almost to the point of being juvenile at times, which was cool.
It fits the era of what you're talking about, though. So it makes sense. I
was comfortable. Raw production, but I thought it was pretty cool, to be honest with you. It shit me a bit early on, but the more I got into it, I kind of
once you settle in it, it's good,
There's no tricks being used here. This is just in-your-face metal, and I thought it was pretty bloody good fun. I thought we'd actually slowed down that Angels and Demons track. They got a nice, sort of real eerie tone that I didn't expect. Because that's not where the rest of the album was. Yeah. It was kind of well done. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a really strong album. I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep an eye out for it because I thought it was cool. I gave it 8 out of 10. It was Kill the Children, Riverview, which I fucking love that track, and The Art of Addiction.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad. I actually...
There's a but.
I didn't get the pun name until just now, so that's kind of cool.
They get an extra point for that?
I don't... It's kind of a weird thing having, a band with a pun name, with a song called Kill the Children. That's a little bit... It's okay. It's your dad's going through some issues.
As opposed to Pig Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's no puns in Pig Destroyer.
It's pretty much on Front Street.
Yeah. They're up front with, who they are. Okay, look, it's listenable. There's decent riffs in there. There's decent vocal lines. But the thing is, it sounds like a great local band.
Yeah.
Funny,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
a great local band.
A great local band. You can sort of, you listen to it, if they got picked up by, and pushed hard by a major-ish label, you'd probably look back in 20 years and go, I can see why they saw something in them, but at the same time, I can see why they went nowhere.
But that's why it's got that underground vibe.
But that's the thing.
I like it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You can have underground thrash vibes and be better than that. Yeah. Whereas I think this is just a little bit painfully average. For example, Mortal Sin would fit into that category. Mortal Sin mops the shit out of this.
I don't know if I go that far.
Yeah, I would go that far.
You are going that far, so it's alright.
Yeah, this is a bit average. It's not terrible. But unfortunately, music is so accessible right now that being not terrible is not good enough. So
I get that point of view, but I don't think I'd agree with you personally.
Yeah, I don't know. This didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, go for it. That's all.
Yeah,
that's the fun part. These Patreon reviews are fucking the fun ones. Yeah. They're the divisive ones.
Good payoff.
Yeah. So what'd you score it?
6.
6. Any standouts?
Nah, not really.
The pun in the name.
Wreck-Defy.
Okay.
My next band's going to be called Pantelica.
Pelica. Now, if you think Megadeth, Harlot, and Skid Row in a blender, that's what I got out of this one. The Skid Row stuff comes from the more melodic, slower stuff they did, but I think this would be if you were on a gig and you had Megadeth headlining, Harlot, and there and these guys, you'd be happy with that 3-band mix. Interesting mix of heavy melody. I've got to give it enough to the drumming on this one. I don't normally think about the drumming. The drumming I thought was fucking great on this listen. It's intense, but then switches to a slower mode to anchor songs down really nicely. Solid foundation, and that gives the rhythm and all the other stuff the room to shine that it needs. Tempo changes are cool. There are some cool swing and groove on this. I thought the album is not a one-dimensional thrash album like you get so many of them. It's like fucking go, 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 go. But this had lots of dynamics applied to it, which was really cool. Well-written lyrics, and I like the tone of the vocals as well. It won't be for everyone, I don't think, but I liked that tone to it and just the right amount of harshness that allows it to cut through, but it's not brittle and not annoying at the same time. It's well mixed in that regard. Around that, it's not as dense as others are in the mix as well. There's a fair bit of panning going on to sort of spread this out nicely across the speakers. The tones are well captured and mixed. It's just the right amount of raw with just the right touch of polish. You don't want to go too far one or the other with this. It's just been balanced right. There's some good shifts on things like the reverb and the guitar solos to sort of add depth and drama to the songs as they're going through. Tight performances, but it's played with feel. It's not snapped to the grid. It's not digitised. It's a genuine band playing in the room. You can feel it. But I like how they've allowed things to pull back on these songs to good effect and not relied on relentless punching you in the head non-stop for the whole record. It's a slightly more melodic take on thrash than you normally get, which to me is a good point of difference on it. It'd be interesting to see how the softer tracks go over with the wider audience. I'm not sure how they'll go. For me, I didn't mind them because they brought something different to the album, but at the same time I can understand why other people out there wouldn't like those softer tracks on this. It's going to be very much down to taste. But there should be more than enough here to please most fans of heavy music. I thought there was enough here to do that. With just enough of a difference to sort of just stick just a little bit off to the side of the pack. I understand Tim's argument that doesn't do anything to rise to the great heights. Probably not. But is it different? Yeah, there's something there. If you're looking for something heavy yet melodic and you just want something new to listen to, give this one a go. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I picked Killing the Children, Angels and Demons, Art of Addiction, and 18 Ounces of Chrome.
Yeah.
So check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think. John 5 and the Creatures, Invasion, 10 tracks for 34 minutes, the 11th solo album from the American musician, released July 2019 via 60 Cycle Hum. Produced by Barry Pointer, at least 5 promo tracks have been released in Zoinks, Crank It Living with Ghosts, I Am John 5, Midnight Mass, and I Want It All. No, it's not a cover. This is our random Spotify find for this week, and John 5 will be on tour in Australia in April next year, courtesy of Silverback Touring.
Yeah, so I saw John 5, and I thought, it's a guy from Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie.
Oh boy, you haven't listened to Solace.
I know this guy.
No, you don't.
Yeah. It's like having a wank in a rainbow.
Okay.
I'm not going to beat that comment ever. Like a wank in a rainbow. Okay.
I don't know what to make of this.
Is there a pot of gold at the end or what?
I don't know. It's probably the wrong description because there's just.
I want to know what that would be the right description for.
Well, hang on. What drugs have you been having lately?
There's no payoff to this.
Ooh. So wanking into a rainbow has no payoff.
I don't know.
It's debating the merits of wanking into a rainbow, but anyway, go for it.
At some point, John blows you away with his guitar ability, but at the same time, it's like there are also parts that are the equivalent of waterboarding. it's like
wow.
It's obviously music made with no rules, and it's music made to make John 5 happy. Cue the reference. And I'm sure John 5 does not care about my opinion because again this is just a record made to make him happy. But if you've ever listened to Primus and thought it's just not out there enough, then maybe check this out.
Zappa fans will get this one.
We'll find out. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
5?
No standouts.
John 5, you gave John 5 a 5 out of 10.
I just
After
realised.
wanking a rainbow.
Wow. This
go.
is certainly an interesting listen.
Yep.
I was thrown right out by the first couple of tracks because it seemed more electro than anything else. And I thought, he's just doing a bad 90s Manson impersonation here, and I wasn't digging it at all. Then Zoinks came on. I went,
Scooby-Doo fan?
oh, hang on, I'm digging this now. This is alright. And then Howdy came after that, and I'm like, okay, this is a fucking masterpiece. Went right back to the start and started again.
Yeah.
I went, okay, now I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in for the ride. You didn't have it, but now I'm hooked.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking wow, you've got me. This is great. This is clever. It kept me guessing from start to finish. I had no idea where it was going
Told
next.
you, Zappa fans will get this.
And I loved every step of it. This is the kind of album that I would put on at a party and completely fucking ruin the party. Because it's not a party album, but it is in my head.
It is though, because it's the one you want to put on when you want to fuck with everyone's head. Like that's the album. You're like, it's 2 a.m, everyone's hammered. How can I fuck with everyone? This.
If you like guitar music at all, even if you like guitar, even if you like what guitars look like, check it out. It's pretty cool. This is the most fun I had listening to an album in a long time. I gave it 9 out of 10. I thought it was a fucking genius bit of artwork. Highlights was Zoinks, Howdy, and Crank It.
Oh, the titles alone should give you an idea of what you're in for with this one. It's time for one of the rare guitarists that is a true chameleon. Like, this guy can play fucking anything. Yep. And I mean anything. And anything goes on this record. Likes that no rules? Not a fucking one. It's one hell of a showcase. No vocals apart from some side effects, and I think there's one female vocal track, like in the second last track or something like that. This is not your typical guitar album. So what we had Grant Burns earlier on, this is not that. Not even fucking close. This is more focused on rhythm overall, if you want to play the guitar side of things a bit. But this is about songs being composed to serve whatever purpose is in the composer's mind at their... whatever, I don't know what goes on in this guy's head, but it's fucking great. You get some lead stuff, he shows off his chops and he's fucking good at it. But what's more impressive to me is just that he can play anything at all. This is all about songwriting in as many diverse ways as possible while still making a cohesive record. Now, obviously not for Tim, but for Brendan and I, it worked. You don't get many like this at all. No. Very rarely. And this is like a fun B-grade movie vibe which covers horror but also sci-fi and more. Like, it just goes everywhere. Great performances. It's a genuine band playing well together. You can't fault that side of it. Some of this is pretty crazy when you start to get into it, when you dig into what they're playing and how they're playing off each other. Some of this goes pretty fucking nuts, and it's well executed. The production is good. Everything is organic about this. So the production, yes, you've got the sci-fi stuff which would lean to it not being organic, but with the playing being done and the way it's been captured, mixed and presented, it feels very natural to listen to it in this way. This goes from metal to funk and anywhere else it likes, including country, and does it fucking effortlessly. It's so easy to take in for me. I got hooked on the first minute. I was like, okay, I'm in the mood for this no matter what. And I'm probably going to go after we're done filming this and go and listen to it again because it's one of those records. It's only just over a half hour long, so it's short, sharp, wham, bam, wank into a rainbow and you're done. And so the album is pure fun. It's talent on display, but it's not arrogant talent. It's just fun. It's just I've got a bunch of songs, I'm going to play them for you. Let's go party. And that's what this album is in a nutshell. This is one of those ones, like we were saying. You put this on at 2 a.m. to really fuck people's head, and it's going to be good. The cool part about this, though, is that it does feel like a band with no backing. There's no backing track nonsense. It just feels like a genuine band. This is fun. If you've not checked out any of John Five's work before, like someone else, this is probably a good place to start, unless you're Tim. I reckon this is great. I give it a 9 out of 10. Crank It, Midnight Mass. I like the funk, and I am John Five. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think. That's it for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Details are at the bottom of the screen as always. So please make sure you give us your thoughts on the episode. Follow all of our social media channels, especially YouTube, for all the extra content that doesn't make it into our weekly television episodes. We also have
THRS Radio, best radio station around.
There are some podcasts out there to check out as well, and make sure you, if you're inclined, and help us out with either merch or Patreon or sponsor packs, whatever else, any support you can give us will be greatly appreciated. Now, don't forget, at the end of the month we have our, Touring Bands of 2019 special, and then at the end of our Christmas special this year, instead of going back to doing an audience choice, we're going to be doing the best albums of the decade. So it's going to be all publicly polled as well. So make sure you're paying attention online to all that sort of stuff to get involved in the conversation. Now it's time for our favourite part of the week, and that is the bin. So,
the bin.
What have you got for us?
Self-driving cars. Where the fuck are you? We record this at night. I've got a long drive. I like to drink. You can't drink and drive. I need a self-driving car. You keep promising it. I'm waiting. Bring it.
Hurry up, Google.
Tesla, whoever.
Yeah.
Bring
Whoever's
it.
Making them, yeah.
Bring it.
You want Minority Report. Just without the Minority Report.
Johnny Cab.
Oh, that's the first on this show. Wow. I haven't thought of that in years.
Total Recall reference.
Yeah.
That's deep cuts.
He's sitting there going, what? He's got no idea. Go on.
Putting in Generation X references.
Well played.
I don't know.
Is that it? Okay, cool. Alright. That actually ties in with what I've got now. People who don't get our in-jokes are going to the bin. 'Cause the amount of shit we do behind the scenes that none of you will ever see, and I wish I could just air it all and be done with it, but we can't do that, unfortunately. But I would just love to see how many people do and don't get all the different jokes. We were talking about this squirrel thing we've had going on for years, Jodie and I have, and
Squirrel.
and people don't get it, and I would just like to put people that don't get jokes like that in the bin, because that spoils the fun, because when everyone has the in-joke, it's more fun. Watch all our shit, get all the in-jokes, there you go. There we go, put it back. We'll be done with it for this week. Anyway, that's it.
You're killing Independent George. Did you get that one?
Yeah, I got one.
Alright, we're going to go and create some more in-jokes. Until next week, I'm Andrew.
I'm Kramer.
It's the summer of George.
As always.
Drink up.
Rock on.
These pretzels are making me thirsty. Bloopers are coming up right around the corner. Before we get to those, just want to say a very quick thank you to our Patreon supporters, our Funk Dancing for Self-Defense, Eat the Damn Orange, Andrew M, Craig S, Greg B, Kaz B, and Tim C. Thank you for your support. Now enjoy the outtakes. What are you doing? Why am I asking you? Why are you fucking doing? What? First. You're a sook. You're a sook. What are you doing? Ready to go?
Hard to say. I might sneeze. Let's run the gauntlet.
Let's see how we go with this. Check it out for yourselves. Let us know what you think. Oh no, a head bust the whiteboard. Okay. I can't even really describe it. It's hard to... It's almost like a globe within two hands, but that's actually not right. But that's the sort of visual it invokes, but it's not actually that thing at all. It's weird, but it's cool. I liked it.
Like two kittens fighting under a blanket, but not at all.
On speed. I hate Guitar Wankery albums. Fucking hate them.
It can be done really well, but...
It can be, but it's often not.
Nah, true. I don't listen to a lot of them.
You can play a million notes a minute, but it's not really impressive anymore because you can watch some 9-year-old kid do it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
It's the vibe.
Vibe of the thing.
It's the vibe.
Yeah.
It's the Marbo. Carcass.
Fucking brilliant.
Carcass. You leading off with car? I think you should lead off with Carcass.
Yeah,
okay.
okay. This is your penchant.
Wreck-Defy.
Wreck-Defy. Remnants of Pain. Oh, okay.
Oh dear. Okay.
This will be interesting. Let's do it. Who wants to go first on this one?
I will, by the sound of that.
All right. Try to make something a little more lighthearted than usual.
Okay.
Usually I'm a downer.
Put some fluff on it.
Squirrel.
Dear.
Today is my birthday. I am in the hole. My pack is in the hole. Have you seen Doug's Big Day?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay. I have to show you that.
What's that?
It's, you know that dog in Up?
Oh, you have shown me that. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you have shown me.
Today is my birthday.
We've had this discussion.
It's like, you can't not have seen that and know me for this long.
Yes. No, we have seen that. Now I know,
That's
what,
where-
now I know what we're talking about. Yes.
That's where squirrel comes from.
Yes.
That's where
That's where, because you and Jodie
Dirty.
went, screw and I went, what the fuck was that? And then you said,
that's an ongoing thing. Squirrel! As soon as you get, it's like the next shiny thing comes by, squirrel. It's just exactly what we are.
I just love how many of those things have come out of the show. Like when that day I was with Toast House. And you went, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? Oh, fuck yes. Toast House.
Oh, wow.
You're killing it a better George.
George is divided against itself.
George is getting upset.
That was fun.
I love that episode when he's speaking to third person. He's talking to Steinbrenner. Like, George would never do that, sir. Well, of course I wouldn't. Brilliant.
Yeah, people don't get the in jokes.
You need to get the Johnny cab. Hi.
Can't believe that.
You're in a Johnny cab.
Oh,
Right.
wow. You've
I
got to
need
show
to-
them a video of that.
Johnny cab.
Johnny Cab. It's there.
It's so awful, though.
But that's the point.
He'll look at it and he'll go, yeah, whatever.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure I will.
I'm not doing it to him. I embarrass myself and others.
But I'm happy with that. You are in a Johnny Cab.
Just drive. I don't know that address. Just drive, you idiot.